The Cleveland Cavaliers will host the red-hot Denver Nuggets in their first game back from All-Star break. What are you anticipating in this matchup?
A highly competitive matchup. Highly competitive because if you think about it, in the game one, I believe this is their second game with the Nuggets. I know the Cavs played them earlier this season, but when the Cavs played the Nuggets earlier this season, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell was not a part of the backcourt. They both didn't play the game. And then Ricky Rubio was still out, so they didn't have him coming off the bench. And then I believe Dean Wayne was out as well. This Cavs team that the Nuggets will be playing, totally different team. So the backcourt that I love, the Cleveland backcourt with Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, this Nuggets team don't know nothing about them just yet. Likewise, this will be the first time that this season that Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland will be playing with Jamal Murray. Because again, they didn't play. So I believe it's going to be very competitive. I think there's going to be a lot of aha moments considering that the Nuggets are number one in the West. And it's so cool about how they're number one. They're like five games ahead of number two. So they got a
Mhm.
solid number one spot. And then the Cleveland Cavaliers, I believe they were like 3-4 after the All-Star game. They may be number four. Well, they're solid in the top six in the East. So, I mean, what are we talking about? And we're talking about all-stars playing. Like, it's going to be a
Yes.
matchup. More so for the Cavs because the Cavs need to maintain their top six and they need to make sure that they, have their proper seating where they want to be at the end of the season. Whereas the Nuggets, of course, they want to keep winning because they don't want the gap to close up between the number two and number one spot. But I think it's going to be very competitive and I can't wait to see it.
Yes, I agree with you. And also, I'm looking for the Nuggets' new additions in Thomas Bryant and Reggie Jackson, who, of course, were brought over during the trade deadline. Thomas Bryant, high energy guy. He's going to fit in pretty well. And then, Reggie Jackson,
See?
he deserves a larger role on a contender. So good for him. Looking for Reggie to, back up Jamal Murray quite nicely. But, I expect both teams to be a little rusty, but quickly get back to their winning ways because the Cavs have won 8 of the last 10 and the Nuggets have won 7 of the last 10. And as you mentioned, number one in the Western Conference. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty good matchup as well.
I don't know if they'll be rusty. I know that they'll be well rested. I remember I watched a game right before the Nuggets played. I forget who they were playing, but they asked Green. What's his first name? Jeff Green.
Oh, yeah, Uncle Jeff.
They asked one of the commentators after the game asked Jeff Green because he kind of just took over the game. They asked him. He said, "What are you gonna do during the All-Star break?" He was like, "Relax." I said, "Exactly." So I think that although Joker and those who participated in the All-Star game may Donovan Mitchell, they may be a bit ready, but the people who rested will probably be ready. So I think it'll be a little bit more. I don't think that um, they'll be ready to get back because if you think about it, anytime after All-Star game, these games critical, especially if you're talking about where you want to be seated. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a really highly competitive game.
Yeah, the Cavs are 25-6 at home, so they are definitely a tough team to beat. While the Nuggets are 14-14 on the road, so they're pretty like an average road team. So looking forward to that dynamic as well.
I think one of the things that we have to consider is that the Nuggets, their team has one person who leads in all statistical categories. I mean,
Yeah,
Joker gonna
yeah.
be the man, right? What I like about the Cavs is I like that their leaders there's a blend of leaders. You got Donovan, you got Darius, you got Jared Allen, Evan Mobley is in there somewhere. So there's a blend of players on that roster that are stat leaders. And so everybody on the Cavs team contributes. Now I'm not saying that the Nuggets team don't have that, but if Joker is not on the floor, then what is
Oh,
it? What are we
yeah,
talking about,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I think that the fact that the Nuggets are whole and then the Cavs will be whole coming into this game, I think it's going to be really something special to watch. Now, I do have a couple of concerns, though. I want to know how will the Nuggets fare up against the Cavs defense? Because, Cavs is at the top of the defensive rating for the league. And so what will that look like? And I'm saying that because Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, you got Jared Allen and people coming off the bench. It just seems like they have a more defensive minded, or they have more players that can play defense as opposed to what the Nuggets have. So I wonder, what does that look like for the Denver Nuggets, and how will they be able to manage the defense that they could potentially come up against when we're talking about the Cavs?
That's a really good point. The Cavs are a pretty good defensive team. My concern is Coach JB Bickerstaff said the Cavs did not come ready to play against the Nuggets in their first matchup. So looking for them to, really, really change the narrative as it relates to that. But, like you mentioned, when your top guys are out of the game. In fact, I think Donovan Mitchell sat out because the game prior, he scored the 71
Yes,
points.
yeah, he was.
You
Yeah,
know,
he said he didn't have his legs, and
I
I'm quite
bet.
sure you didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
He played like over
Yeah.
40 minutes. Yeah, he was exhausted. Yeah,
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
mm-hmm.
So I'm happy about that. And I think Darius Garland was dealing with maybe his eye issue at the time. So again, they're gonna be back, ready to go, fresh off All-Star break. I can't wait. You know what? Another thing that concerns me is that I believe the Nuggets could potentially out 3-point shoot the Cavs. Potentially. So I'm wondering who will be victorious when we're talking about 3-point shooting in this particular matchup. So, and I'm not saying that the Cavs can't shoot 3-pointers, but I just know that the Denver Nuggets, especially with Kentavious Caldwell Pope added to the
Yeah.
roster, which was a nice pickup in the offseason, I think it's going to be something to watch. I do wonder about Michael Porter Jr. though. I don't know. I know that he has been in and out of the lineup because of, he's managing injuries, but I don't know. I
Yeah.
just don't know about him and how
Mhm.
effective he will be in this game. Hopefully he will be, because they'll need it right against the Cavs, especially this young Cavs team. I think they'll need it,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I just wonder how effective he will be in this game. And if it's not in this game, when? Like, I don't know. I just need something more from him.
Yes, the deciding factor in the last game was the missed free throws. I think the Cavs went 18 for 32 from the stripe. You can't do that. All their starters were negative in the plus minus category, and they shot 45% from the field. Whereas the Nuggets, all starters were positive in the plus minus. They shot 53% from the field, and they only missed 5 free throws. So really, that was the game because the
Mhm.
Cavs lost by 13 points.
Mhm.
And had they
Mhm.
made their free throws, maybe we would be having a different conversation today.
Exactly, exactly. So the shooting will be something I'm concerned about. But again, the Cavs did not have Donovan Mitchell or Darius Garland on the court in that game. So that is something to keep in the back of your mind when we're talking about the difference between the first game they played and what we can expect in the second game against the Cavs and
Oh,
the
oh,
oh,
good.
and you know what? Not only that, the Cavs added Danny Green to their roster.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay. Hopefully he becomes Danny Green of 2019
If
in
he does,
Toronto.
that'll be
Because if he
great.
did that off the bench, can you imagine?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes. So, I hope that he's able to contribute in that way. I don't.
In the last matchup, they had Kevin Love who played 24 minutes. The Cavs no longer have him. I mean, Kevin
Yeah.
Love is a big body, can play power forward or center. And going up against the Cavs and their big bodies, Jared
Mhm.
Allen, Evan Mobley, it's going to be a gaping hole.
So, who do you have coming out of this game?
Oh, I think that the Cavs will get the win.
I have them as well.
Yeah.
I think
'Cause
they will be
they're
able to tie the
retooled.
series.
They are
Yeah.
retooled. They
Yeah.
added the pieces, and
Mhm.
then Donovan and Darius Garland will be playing. I mean,
Yeah.